Hey folks, it's Tom, your frugal prepper. So my son's Acura has this ability to just die. He'll be driving it along, running just fine, then it'll die. It won't restart until he lets it sit and cool off. Then eventually it'll restart. Sometimes it seems like it's missing and running real rough at first. And then it'll drive a little farther and then it'll die. I've driven it around. I've left it run. I can't get it to do it. It runs great. Had a misfire code for 4 of the 6 cylinders. Is the only codes in it. I tried replacing the main relay under the dashboard first because I can get those pretty cheap on the Amazon. So for 20 bucks, we popped one of those in there. Thought that might be a problem. I've seen that with Hondas a lot of times of this vintage. And no, that didn't solve the problem. So what we're going to do is, because I can't duplicate it, my best guess is it might be the fuel pump's overheating. This has like 280-some thousand miles on it. So Rock Auto even had, the fuel pumps were expensive for this, for the whole complete ones. They only had one and it was like 160 bucks or something. So I got this, a new fuel pump motor. It comes with new hoses, all the gaskets, to be able to rebuild that fuel pump that is in it. And this was only like 15 bucks. So we're going to do that. This is a TYCCRQ part. So I'm going to pull the fuel pump out of this. This one, you know, like most Hondas, it has a little door right there to get to the fuel pump and the fuel tank. Because you do not want to have to drop a tank out of one of these because the whole rear suspension has to be removed. The whole drivetrain has to be removed. Suspension drop to get to the fuel tank on these. This is a 2002 Acura TL. Same thing as an Accord. It's got the 3.2 liter. This is the TLS, the Sport Edition. So it's a fast car. It's really, really fast, actually. It's got the manual and automatic. Like you can put it over into manual mode and go up and down through the gears. Nice car, but we got to figure out why it's dying. Also, the rest of the parts are arriving tomorrow, but I got the one upper control arm and ball joint for the left side, and I've got one for the right side, and I've got the other ball joints and new struts coming to get that rebuilt. I have 2 struts that came with it, but these are the rear struts, I believe, not the front ones. I don't know. They had them on clearance, the struts on clearance at Rock Auto for $2.65 a piece, and it didn't raise my shipping any when I added them. So I went ahead and bought those. If those are fronts, I'll have 2 sets of fronts. It's no big deal. But we're going to see if we can get it done. That tire looks a little low again. I did top them all off a few weeks ago, so it might have a slow leak. But we're going to see if we can get her going and get the suspension fixed and see if that fuel pump fixes the problem. Alright, so I got the old fuel pump out. It's right here. This new fuel pump was actually an exact match to this size and specs and connector type and everything. It came with a smaller fuel filter, but I put that on there. I put the fuel pump back in. I hooked the hose back up here where it goes. The electrical connections plugged back in. Now, this kit comes with a bunch of different gas tank seals. Does not come with the right seals. It did come with these worm hose clamps, and it came with this fuel line, but this fuel line is just too small to fit on there. So yeah, I had to use the old fuel line. I just used the old hose clamps with it. But that line looks perfectly fine. I don't have to make any type of electrical splices in there because the connector fit perfectly. So I'm going to take this seal off and just clean it and lube this all down real good so that it hopefully seals back up to the tank well. Because like I said, it comes with all kinds of seals. But this car doesn't take a round seal, it takes a big seal. But I would say that's the original fuel pump and the original filter, as dirty as it is. And we'll try this one and see if it works, if this solves this problem or not. So also the other thing I did notice when I pulled this out, I'll show you back here where I pulled it out at. First of all, these bolts were really rusty. I had to use my bolt extractor to get one of them out, but I got them out right there. And so I'm going to clean this up around the top. I blew it off with lots of compressed air to get all the dirt and stuff, or most of it, out of there first, so it doesn't fall down in the tank. But then we'll clean that little ring off with some brake clean before we drop it all back down in. But I did notice when I unhooked these fuel lines, there was like just a little drop of gas. I mean, there was just no pressure there. And I believe these pumps are like GMs or anything else. They should hold pressure when they're not running. And so with it having such weak pressure, this might be a bad pump. I mean, that's another thing that kind of points that way, but I don't know. I don't know if it has a fuel pressure schrader on it. I could hook up the fuel pressure tester and check that, but I've already replaced it now with $15. So it's just worth it just to put that in there real quick and see if that's it. And then you're of course going to do all the suspension work on it too. But yeah. Alright, I got the fuel pump all back in, bolted in. I screwed the plate back on after I started it and checked for leaks. I just made sure nothing was leaking, nothing was. Put the plate back on. It runs still, you know. We'll have to see if it keeps running. And if not, we'll have to look for something else. I'm going to give him a can of brake clean and show him how to spray some down the snout when it dies, to see if it's a fuel problem or a spark problem. You know, and we'll see. Maybe one of these times when it breaks down on him, I'll be able to run out there. I'll be close enough to run out there and take a look. But so far, that just hasn't happened. So, we'll just have to see what it does. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and jack this up and get started on the front suspension.